Well, Jordan, I want to thank you for doing the interview with me, and I'd like for you to just explain a little bit maybe of how you felt before you came here. And we could talk about things we found that were causing your symptoms, but do you want to just talk about your symptoms before you came?
Yeah, think about where to start. I've probably had like a few episodes throughout my life, like depression, anxiety, but never for like long periods of time. But probably the past 4 years is whenever I started to notice a decline, like in my health, and it started with fatigue and lack of focus, and then it kind of progressed more to like pain and muscle pain, like especially like muscle and joint pain. School was getting a lot more difficult. Work was getting a lot more difficult. Just carrying on a social life was effort. And then I ended up moving back home. I was in school at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, and then I moved home after my 2nd year of college. It just got to be too much being away from home. And the next 2 years was whenever everything really kind of went downhill for me. Anything and everything was work. It was effort.
Severe fatigue.
The fatigue, and I mean, I know a lot of people out there can relate to that feeling of just heaviness. You feel like you weigh 1,000 pounds, and that feeling, you know, brings depression and anxiety and stress because you can't do the things that you want to do. And so then mentally, I lost passion, I lost desire, I lost pretty much just I lost myself, and it got to be to where if you think that you can't do it anymore, like you don't want to live like this, and is this what life is? Is this what life is going to be? And you seek for answers and you don't find them, and then. So
you went to several doctors trying to find out why you were getting so tired, or?
I didn't do a lot of searching because I felt that I excused my symptoms for being, I'm overworked. I've always been a person to easily be stressed out. Like that's what's causing, like the tension is what's causing my muscle pain. Like, so I excused what I was feeling on other things because I thought maybe that's normal. And then one day I woke up and said, I'm 22 years old. It's a Friday night. I should not be in bed hurting for no reason. And you couldn't pay me to want to go out with my friends. And then once my dad had figured out some of the genetic issues involved with like mold toxicity and like being able to detox all those things, he kind of formed the connection of himself and I, and from there it was kind of like an easy, I actually found it the easy way. It was, I did all the testing and stuff, and sure enough I had all the genetics that didn't allow me to detox mold, produced antibodies to fight mold, Lyme as well, and so it explains it all. I mean, you have a list of symptoms, and I fit in each one of them. So.
Yeah, you were pretty classical. Of course, the symptoms that you had, and it usually starts with the fatigue, but what I hear from everyone, around the same time the fatigue starts, the brain fog starts. And
Yes.
it's of course I've explained all that deeper science to you and
Mm-hmm.
your family and so forth. We won't need to go into that today, but it is the common denominators are, I see in everyone. You had some genetics even for methylation,
Mm-hmm.
which inhibit detoxification as well, and some liver detox enzymes. But for the most part, you were my classic patient. And I think it's profound that you talk about, you go back 4 years before, you were the average 17, 18-year-old.
I was home.
And rocking and rolling and going to school, and after school out and about, and
I was
doing your
homecoming.
cheerleading, or what were you, homecoming queen?
Cheerleading captain, homecoming queen, student council president, involved in everything that I could possibly
That's
be
what I
involved
want you to
in.
say for the folks out here, because I know your father, and of course your mother, and I know you, and you would have been the person who would have packed 10 pounds of activities into a 2-pound day, you know?
Yes. And I could do it.
You could do it. You could run and gun and,
Yeah.
and make it happen and be involved in all these different organizations. And to go from that, which is what you should be able to do, but you probably were more active than the average student.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's difficult. You go from that to suddenly it's like work to keep up with those, then you start dropping the extracurriculars, and then it's work to go to school, and then it's just work to get out of bed.
It was that
It's
exact
progressive.
decline.
Yeah.
It was, you went from, like you said, the overachiever to then it was work and school, and I was still in extracurricular activities in college, and one thing dropped, and then I dropped another thing, and then it became work and school, and then trying to have a social life, and then the social life went, and then it was work and school, and then school started to become an issue, and I've always been very, very, like, my grades in school have been extremely important to me, and then I started to slack, I started to miss classes, I started to do the bare minimum, and then soon after that, I dropped out. I had 5 classes left. I could physically not do it anymore. Work was starting to get to a point to where I was slacking, and so it was just that decline of myself that when I look back, it still is, it's crazy. I don't know what other words.
It seems like a different life now.
Yes, it's different.
Your father brought you here, I think it was in November,
Mm-hmm.
so around November, and of course this is June of 14, and you were here, I think, 3 or 4 months, weren't you? 12 weeks, 16
Mm-hmm.
weeks maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and we diagnosed Lyme disease and Bartonella, Protozoa rheumatica, and mold toxicity, and
Mm-hmm.
some other things, and in fact, even the celiac disease, that
Mm-hmm.
you had a marker that, and I explained to you that will reverse now that we've corrected a lot of these other,
Mm-hmm.
these other entities, particularly the mold toxicity, the trichothecene toxins destroy that gut lining.
Mm-hmm.
The intestinal lining gets destroyed, it leaks more of the gliadin over, and that was getting those things out of you is going to let it heal. It's going to take a little time for that, but you can reverse those things. So I remember you were pretty looked pretty tired and worn out when you got here, and now you're vivacious. You're back at work.
Yes, I'm back at work actually full time. I got promoted to assistant manager. I'm involved with all the different activities outside of work, and
So you go to work, and you put in 8 to 10 hours in retail, in fashion, and then you're now able to go out and play afterwards?
Yes, I still have the energy to want to do, like, have a life after that. Like, it's not an effort anymore to want to go out with friends or to do the things that I used to love. Like, the fact that things that you truly loved at one point became work, it's so sad, I can't explain how good it feels that it comes naturally now to be the person that I once was. And my friends are beyond thrilled.
What do your friends say?
I mean,
you had these girlfriends from high school
yes.
who saw you start going down around your senior year, somewhere in there,
Mm-hmm.
maybe junior year, and they saw you in this 3 to 4 year period where you
Mm-hmm.
weren't hanging out with them. You weren't
Mm-hmm.
one of them. They would maybe come see you. They call you up. You say, "Oh, I'll just stay home." Maybe they
Yeah.
stop by, but you know, you weren't quite bedridden, but you stayed in bed a lot,
Yeah.
as I recall. And so they now see the transformation to.
They have their JoJo back. That's my nickname.
Is that it?
And they're excited.
All right, JoJo. Good.
Yeah, they have me back, and I'm thrilled to have them back in my life as well. So.
Well, you were a great patient. We had to push hard to kill those various microorganisms, and we also had the industrial toxicity, which we found a lot, which I think is from the BP oil spill. It may or may not be, but good chance. So we had quite a few things to treat, and we pushed hard, and you were a trooper, and I'm just excited that you got your life back. So.
Yeah, I'm beyond thrilled, and I couldn't thank this clinic and your staff and you and everybody here for what y'all have done for not only me but for my family as well. And I'm back.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, and I thank you for sharing this, because there are young ladies all over America like you, and without patients and families seeing these video testimonies, many of the patients, when they come here, they say, if I hadn't seen so-and-so's testimony, now JoJo's testimony,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have come, because everybody relates to a certain person they see, you know, and so we appreciate you sharing that with the rest of the folks out there.
Wow. It's the least I could do if only I could reach everybody. I mean, so many people are really suffering and don't know answers, and it's really sad, and I wish there would be more that I could do, but if I could reach out to anybody, and I've actually made a few connections over Facebook, people who've heard about my story, and asking questions, and if that's, even though it may be small, that could change one person's life and can get them to be to where they could find themselves again. So.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Take care.
Thank you.